This weekend's racing takes us to, on Friday, we've got Exeter. On Saturday, we've got Aintree and Wincanton, which are the races we're going to cover. Looking forward to the weekend's racing action.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow. Holden Gold Cup Day at Exeter, which is always a big race in the calendar. Looking forward to it. Some big racing at Aintree as well, and Wincanton, so lots to touch on.
Well, look, the ground's playing a big part at this moment in time in terms of what horses we're seeing. So it's a difficult time to pick the winners, but we're going to try and kick off and get running straight away. So I'm going to start with the 115. I like Sorcerer in the race. It looks a nice opportunity.
It was a very good horse last season, actually. Very promising. Started this season with a good second at Exeter, I thought.
That's it, yeah.
Nicholas horses weren't exactly on top form, and there's slightly better signs now.
Yeah.
Can definitely improve from that and looks like win the race.
It won't be much of a price, but I think it'll win quite easily, actually. The 150, I think we've both got a selection in this, so obviously I'll let you kick us off.
Yeah, definitely in silence for me. Won the meeting last year. Took the form to a different level, I thought, when winning the Grade 2 Winter Novices at Sandown.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him since, so not sure about his whereabouts, but he's clearly fit and ready to run now. I think he could make a better chaser than Hurdler.
That was
a point winner. You know, the Scout and Horse are in definitely better form than Nichols is. That's probably one of my main reasons for going for that one, actually. And yeah, for that reason, he's definitely my pick. So
yeah, I just thought that he'd had some nice form in the book. I noted down that it beat Personal Ambition last year. Who's quite a nice little yardstick of a horse.
But he came out running really well, actually, behind Look Away at Utox the other day. So
really,
it's good form in the book.
So definitely silence for both of us. Okay, the actual Holden Gold Cup at 225 itself. This is on the Friday again, obviously, just to keep you all in the loop. Do you fancy the JPR one is at the top of the market? Do you think?
No, I fancy Jello, actually.
Okay.
Look, it's quite early days for the Alicia Williams horses. They seem to revel in the mud. Obviously not going to get that. However, it's shown form on good ground. So, yeah, he chased home Nickelback in the Silly Isles last season, which he was the only horse to get close to him. He's an absolute runaway winner. He's the only one to crack the pack and actually look remotely threatening. So, yeah, he's going to be an interesting horse. He finished third in the Turners at Cheltenham behind Ginny's Destiny and Grey Dawning. So he's got all the form in the book. And, yeah, I think he could be the one to side with.
Okay. I like Sans Brute, who won the Red Rum at Aintree at the Aintree Festival this year. Look, I was just very, very taken with that performance. I think there'll be a lot of improvement to come from the Nichols horse. As I said, those horses are just starting to run a little bit better now. So therefore, I just feel as if that would be more of interest. I think it's quite an open Gold Cup. Also, the good ground of Sans Brute, the form on good ground for Sans Brute was quite appealing. As similar to JPR1 and getting a few pounds and probably a big improver.
Yeah.
The 235 on that day, I just want to give a notable mention for T-Clipper, for Tom Lacey's. Obviously, we've recently been out there. I spoke to him about T-Clipper and I just sort of said, look, you were a little bit disappointed with that run last time at Exeter. And he actually said quite the opposite. He said, no, we were really impressed with that run. Although he come there as if he should win the race, I think his view was that he'll come on a ton for the race. Still, and he said in his words, there's still a good handicap in him. So I think T-Clipper in the 235 is worth following for sure. Moving on to Saturday, what we're going to cover is the free-to-air racing because there's a lot of racing on the Saturday. We'd be here forever and bore the pants off you if we just sat here talking about it. So we decided to just cover the free-to-air racing. First race that we're going to start is at Wincanton in the 109. We tipped this horse up last week as a free tip on our Patreon page. So those of you that followed that would have made hay while the sun shines, hopefully. However, he goes again this week. Tedley.
Yeah, impressive winner I thought the other day. Wasn't given a hard time by Jamie Brace. Very strong at the finish. Definitely more to come. I think the quick turnaround's going to be no problem. I think sometimes you've got to strike whilst they're in that good form and make the most of it. And yeah, I can't see him from the race to challenge him actually. So I think he can win again.
Well, he didn't win as easy as he liked, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. He didn't go for him one bit, in my opinion.
No, there was no real effort made. In fact, I think he was held on to with a view to coming back and winning another race quite soon.
He simply just kept it simple, didn't he? And just kept in what he had to do and didn't give him a hard race. So he's going to be good to go again, in my opinion. So
okay. The 130, what did you like in the 130?
Yeah, Guard Your Moon for Twiston Davis's. Started the season really well. won both of his races. I think he's a progressive type. I don't see anything else in the race probably with the most potential as he has. And yeah, I think the return to 3 Mile will bring out more improvement actually, because he won over 3 Mile at Hexham. I think the last day was slightly shorter, but he beat a good horse called Long Draw, I believe, and they drew miles clear of the rest. So yeah, for that reason, I think he's the one to side with.
No real view on it, massive view on it. I thought Harbour Lake was quite interesting. There's some good form in the book of this one going back to suggest that actually we're probably not seen anywhere near the best of that horse.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have a massive opinion, so I'm quite happy to leave you to have that one. The 145 back at Wincanton. I fancy one at a bigger price. What do you fancy?
I haven't got a strong opinion on this race. I'm going to leave this one to you.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, I thought
very open.
I thought Sabrina was a really interesting one in this race. I think something around 10 to 12 to 1 at this moment in time, so the Racing Post tells us. We know that tells us a lot of, you know what. But look, this one's got really good course and distance form, and most importantly, loves the rattlingly quick, good ground. And look, Wincanton at this time of year is always good ground, even when they get some rain. So I'm expecting it to be fairly quick this weekend at Wincanton. And I just think that, again, I've got this feeling, and I hope I'm right, fingers crossed, touch wood. I think Paul Nicholls is about to hit a decent vein of form.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
his horses are just creeping, aren't they?
Yeah.
You were talking to me earlier about Irish Hill, weren't you? And that was the one.
Yeah, like seriously flopped at Chepstow and then was gambled off the boards to win at Plumpton the other day.
Yeah.
And delivered. So yeah, there's better signs from the yard, and yeah, sure, sometimes they can take their first run, need them, can't they? So not that surprisingly. I think Nicholls has proven that over the years.
Yeah, he's a bit of a master at doing that. We won't doubt him too much. Just that early form in the season, just kind of putting people off, and I think people are just starting to gain the trust again. The 205 is a very open-looking race, and for that reason alone, I've got a 33 to 1 shot. But I'm gonna let
you crack on.
You sure?
100%. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Magistrato, like I said, I think it's a really open race, and I'm not necessarily convinced that some of those at the top end of the market are that reliable. And likewise with this one, so it could be a bit of anything. But Magistrato is a good ground horse. Needs to run at this time of year, probably running into a winter season when it probably wouldn't do if the ground had gone soft. It's £3. He's got a £3 claimer, taking a few pounds off. Gets in here off 10 stone 9, somewhere near the bottom of the weight. I think it looks a pretty average race, and at 33 to 1, I'm prepared to take a few quid each way, rather than sort of punt those exposed types that I'm not convinced of.
Yeah, fair shot.
Anything to oppose that?
No, I couldn't agree more.
Get one up. Okay, the 223, which is a novice chase.
Yeah.
Now, do we like the same horse here?
No, I'm on Insurrection.
Okay, right. Okay, you go first.
Yeah, had a good novice campaign, highly regarded by Paul Nicholls. I thought it took its form to a new level over Fence's first start. Although in defeat was second, came at a time like we just touched on. Nicholls' horses weren't exactly firing, and actually at that meeting at Chepstow, it's probably the only horse of his to actually run somewhere to his full ability, and I think he can clearly come on for that.
Do you know what beat it?
Springwell Bay. Who's a horse I really like.
Yeah.
And there was no absolute disgrace in that. So I think he's going to come on for the run, and I think he can improve enough to win this.
Okay.
Got a lot of respect for handstands for Ben Paulin. They think a lot of that as well. So he's going to be no easy horse to beat, but I think that runner as belt, he could strip a lot fitter for the day. So
I think for me, Ben Paulin knows the time of day. When he talks about horses in such a strong way, he's one of those trainers I do listen to because I think he's very capable. So in handstands, he's talked about handstands being his potential novice chaser that will run at the festivals this season. The Cheltenham, the Aintree, this, that, the other. And the way that I look at this is, if he's not able to win this race, he probably isn't going to be that, because the Irish will be miles ahead of the rest of this pack. So
they will be anyway, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, I know that. But I mean, handstands is the one that I'm going to say could be could be anything, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Like brother Sam looked at buying both of these at the sales, funnily enough.
Yeah,
just came up short, so that'd have been a nice problem to have, wouldn't it? To have both of those in the yard. So.
Yeah. Okay, so 223. I'll go handstands. Your Insurrection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. The 240 is over the Grand National Fences, but it is the Topham.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the Topham. the Topham is a race that actually, funnily enough, we had a runner in a few years ago. Didn't quite go to plan.
Turned the somersault, didn't they?
Ballooned the first two fences and
Yeah.
arrived at the biggest fence on the course, the chair, and just thought it was a hurdle, which was a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
But this is quite an interesting race for later on in the season, obviously for the national, the Beecher, etc.
Yeah.
There's some good horses in this.
There is. I think the most interesting run is probably Adalco Bio for Twiston Davis. He's only a 6-year-old. Probably not the natural step for a horse to go over these fences so early.
Yeah.
For that reason, makes him interesting alone, I feel. Twiston's done extremely well over these fences in the years, winning Grand Nationals and also raced this type with, Hello Bird and Baby Run over the Fox Hunter fences and everything like that. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. He's good fresh. I think he won his bumper first start, and last season he fell up third at Warwick then going on to win at Cheltenham. So, fitness can be no issue.
Cheltenham, actually.
Yeah.
Was that November meeting?
It is the October meeting, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good winner. So, look, no problem with that. He's got a lot more potential from the race, I think. So, he's going to be an interesting runner. If the money comes for him, he could be the one to follow.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to put two up against the field, really. I think Late Night Pass is the one horse probably you're most likely to get your running from in the race. I'm not sure whether he will need that extra distance now, getting a bit older and that, but it has won over the fences over this distance, if I'm right. It certainly finished second. Also, Percussion finished third off 136 in the Beecher, but most interesting, that's over 3 mile 2. This is over 2.5 miles.
Reliable horse over these fences.
Yeah, and what I liked most about this horse, he was leading 2 out, he's fairly close to the pace, which I think is what you want over the 2.5 miles around Aintree over these fences. I think sometimes horses can get
this trip probably will suit him better. Yeah.
So I just thought Percussion would be the interesting one that would be for me. Okay, so 255, where we go back to Wincanton for the elite hurdle. An early sort of nice 2 mile race, which supposedly is supposed to be for the top notchers, but is there one in there?
Yeah, I think the absolute bank of the day, to be honest. Rubode, Paul Nichols, won on reappearance at Kempton.
Yeah.
Won this race last year. I think he's had way too many gears for the likely danger Aspire Tower, whose form mainly comes over further. Yeah, loves good ground. There's so much to like. He's going to boss the race in the front. I don't think they're anywhere near him. So keep it simple. Rubode will not get beat.
Okay. Well, we're bang against each other here because I really like Aspire Tower.
No chance.
And Aspire Tower beat 3 good horses at Punchestown last time. I think Punchestown is a track that will definitely play to the strengths of this horse in terms of coming to Kempton. That was over 2 mile 2 furlongs, so a little bit further. On really good rattling ground. Rubo's got to give him £6. And I just think Aspire Tower 2 years ago was a horse that was considered very, very promising for the De Bromhead Yard. Things didn't go to plan, and that performance coming back, as long as the Banks factor hasn't kicked in, which often does after that long layoff, I think Aspire Tower will go really, really well. And actually, I'm quite confident, actually.
He won't live with Rubode. You're looking at his ass the whole way around.
We're bang against each other there, so... But how about loser buys a pint?
Yeah, you don't even drink these days. That's all right.
Yeah,
cheap drink.
Right. I'll have 2 zeros instead of 1. Okay, so then the so-called big race of the day is the Badger Ales.
Yeah.
Really a race steeped in history. It's been around for a long, long time. ITV will no doubt roll out their VT tomorrow of everything going back as many 100 years as they can.
Good memories of the race. Obviously, Frode on Lumping.
Good race, isn't it?
Huge amounts of weight around there. It's probably one of the standouts.
It does produce good horses.
It does. It's not a big field this year, probably because of the ground. It's probably the smallest Badger Ales field I've seen, actually.
Yeah.
But the one I like is Gustavian for Anti-Honeyball. Horse in really good form.
That's a massive price. What price is that?
I'd say he will be a decent enough price. There's a lot to look into, I think. The return to 3 mile will definitely help.
Yeah.
He's running over a lot shorter. He's seriously well handicapped. Back down to 128. He was as high as 137. He creeps in off bottom weight for a yard in form, and I think at a price he could give a serious good run in here. Yeah.
Would he like to
no
race,
weight on his back.
Would he like to race close to the pace, or because again, this is another race where you won't want to be too far back at Wincanton, would you?
Yeah. That's probably one of the things I like the most. Actually, he's been running over a lot shorter, which I felt was a bit bizarre. It's almost like they've had like a target in mind, and whether it's this race, I'm not too sure. But yeah, just check the market and see if there's any money about for him, because he will be interesting, that's for sure.
You spotted something that
I think I have, yeah. I'm onto one.
He's onto one. Look, again, I'm going to say I'm going to give two against the field here a little bit, because I'm a little bit unsure right now as we do this. But Remastered, I'm still undecided whether or not I think he can do this at 11 years old. I don't generally like to back horses in races like this at 11 years old. That's the only thing that goes against him, because his last run was something really quite good. It was a return to something like the old Remastered, who, by the way, is getting in here, I think, off a mark of about 146, and has won off 156, I think he has in the past.
Yeah.
So, if he is in that form again, he's still £10 well in, or £5 well in, because he's gone up to 150, I think, now. That last win also was over course and distance. I think Wincanton's such a specialist track. It's always one of those tracks where if you don't ride it, if the jockey doesn't ride it, or the horse isn't in the right position at the right time, you can then find yourself just drifting back through the field.
Yeah, they kind of get away from you, don't they?
They do, yeah, definitely. And because it's good ground, they'll be rattlingly quick going away from them as well. So I thought Remastered was really interesting. Likewise, Forward Plan finished third in a very, very good handicap at Aintree in the spring. Again, on pretty good ground. Likes the ground again. I just thought that those two were the interesting ones to take against the field. In terms of obviously racing coming up, we'll be at Cheltenham next week. Looking forward to that.
I think outside of the festival, it's always the best meet of the season, to be fair. So yeah.
Yeah. Where will people find you? To see you then, Bar?
I won't be too far away from there.
We'll probably owe a few of you a drink if you.
Yeah.
Certainly if you follow today's tip of the day.
Absolutely.
Right. Thanks for following, listening. As always, we'll say if you want to get our daily tips, you can go to our Patreon service and sign up there. Also, our monthly subscription is readily available. Please find all the content on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook. We're posted just about everywhere. If you want to engage with us and talk to us, please do in any of the comments. We'll be delighted to sort of speak to people, and we love it when people obviously put forward their selection. So, final thing to say is in this video is tell us what your nap of the day is on Friday and Saturday as well. And there's no prizes for it, but we'll give you a nice mention if you manage to nap one on those days. For now, cheers for watching, and we'll be doing a video next week.
Yeah, spot on. Cheers.
Take care.